Hey there, my name is Danny Leibrandt, and welcome back to Pest Control Success Stories, where we sit down with members from our Pest Control Millionaires program who are doing incredible stuff. Today, I'm joined by Jesse Beltran, the founder of Drop Dead Pest Solutions out of Evansville, Wisconsin, which is actually just like 30 minutes or 60 minutes away from me, which is pretty crazy. Jesse has been in the pest control industry for over a decade, carrying on a family legacy that spans multiple generations. Since starting Drop Dead Pest Solutions back in 2009 part-time and then 2013 full-time, he's built a trusted brand known for quality service, integrity, and environmentally conscious pest management. In this episode, we'll talk about how Jesse got started, the lessons he's learned growing his company, and what it takes to run a successful pest and wildlife business in today's competitive market. Now, without further ado, Jesse, welcome to the show.
So thanks for having me, Danny. How's
Of
it going?
course, man. Yeah, no, it's going well. So I want to jump into your background, Jesse. I find this interesting. So you are kind of a generational or multi-generational pest control guy. Your grandpa was in pest control, your dad was in pest control. It just seemed kind of the next logical route for you. First off, I just wanted to ask, like, what was that like of, a lot of your family being in pest control?
Uh, growing up, it was just kind of normal.
Mm.
Even I remember being in kindergarten in summer. Like I'd go with my dad. I got to ride along with him. I don't know how the corporate let him do that, but I got to ride along with him. I don't know if you're familiar with like House on the Rock up here.
Mm.
It's like one of the biggest things. That was one of his biggest accounts. So it was fun to go along and learn and do what he did and got to see a lot of cool stuff. So, but
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so you you've kind of always been around it. And then I think, did you start a company with your grandpa, you said?
yeah, so what happened is my grandpa worked for Willkill and he ended up retiring. But he was one of those guys that was go, go, go. And he enjoyed talking to people, he enjoyed doing pest control. So what he ended up doing is he wanted to do the easy stuff. So he started his own company, just doing a lot of the easy stuff, general bug control. He basically worked 3 months out of the year in the spring and in the fall, and that's what he did. And he grew enough that over, I think he did it for like 5 to 10 years. He grew enough that he had enough customers and wanted help. So I was doing construction at the time, doing roofing and siding. So he approached me about working for him. Because I'm a big guy and construction's hard on your body as it is. So he kind of want to help me get off the roof and stuff like that. So I started helping him just on the side here and there, a day here, a day there type of deal. So I got to learn a little bit about doing easy stuff of the pest control. And then after a few years, he approached me about just working for him.
Mm.
And I approached him about doing more business partner
Mm.
and like let's grow this business and let's get big. He didn't really want to do that. So I started my own company and I have your knowledge because I had some knowledge. I knew I grew up around it, but I didn't have it all. So he helped for the first year. He helped me where he could, and I figured it out on my own as I went.
Yep.
So that's kind of how I got into it. I started off on the side, so I still did until I could build up enough clientele. I still did construction until about 2013.
Okay, cool. And did you, just because I feel like different people have different perspectives on this, did you always plan to be a business owner? Did you always know you were going to start a company?
Um, yes and no. When I was 18, I started my own roofing company. This was
Oh.
back before the bubble pop, like the economy and everything.
Mm.
Um, and being that young, it's hard to you're 18, it's hard to make sales
Mm.
when it's a $15,000 roof. So, and then the bubble popped, and I went and worked for a guy that was very well established. But he kind of let us do, he was a great boss. He let us do what we wanted as long as we got work done. So it's kind of working for yourself, but you got a paycheck every week.
Mm.
Um, so I always loved that and I couldn't wait to really go back. As far as being a business owner, I never saw myself like that. I just saw working for myself, being
Mm.
self-employed and doing what I needed to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So you've always kind of been an entrepreneur, but you just more so want to do your own thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, Okay, so then tell me about the first few years of Drop Dead Pest Solutions. What did that look like? Was it tough or was it easier than you thought?
Um, it was, I guess it was tough. It was definitely tough. Um, I have my wife, she's very smart. She was always, on the corporate side of things. So she always made a good amount of money. So it kind of relieved some of that stress of money wise. So I could pursue that. She let me pursue what I wanted to do then.
Mm.
She could see where I was heading towards anyway. So she let me pursue that. So that helped immensely take a lot of weight off my shoulders. But yeah, it turned into a lot of hours just going, especially when it was this part-time thing. I would work 10 hours construction and then I'd work till dark doing pest control.
Wow.
It was just go, go, go.
Mm.
And she actually pushed me then to go towards full time. She's like, you need to go full time because at that point we had 2 kids. And she's like, you need to have time to be home type of deal
Mm.
with and be with that. So she was the push behind going into full time. It still was tough because we have 2 kids, which was nice because they could come to work with me. They throw around the truck,
Yeah.
depending on what I was doing, they could sit in the back of the truck and color and have fun. So, which I loved. That was great. That was
Yeah,
part of the thing
definitely.
about being my own boss that I can take the kids with me. The dog can come with me. Like, it's flexible that wise.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, so you were maybe 3 to 4 years you were part-time. Then what made you make the switch to full-time?
It was my wife.
Mm.
She's like, it's too much. You need to go full time. She goes, I'll help with the bills. We'll get that going. Um, she's been the biggest push behind me. I don't take risks. I like the safe bet.
Mm.
And with business, that's equals slow growth. And that's not always good. I would be years ahead if I would have listened to her a little more and took a little bigger risk. But that
Mm.
was that was the biggest thing. It's like you need to be home more because all I was doing was working.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were doing pest control and construction, then you went full-time. Did you start growing faster when you went full-time?
Yes. I grew really fast. It was kind of crazy because then within a few years, it was back to me just working. It's just dark to dark anytime.
Yeah.
It's just going. And that went a few years again. And my, my wife again was like, you need to hire. And that scared me very. I mean, it's a lot of pressure because now not
Mm.
only am I helping support my family, but now it's somebody else's family.
Oh, yeah.
Um, so that was the biggest thing. And I pushed it off for a while, about a year or two, I pushed it off. And because I would just work all summer and then winter, I just chill.
Yeah.
So, um, but then she was the biggest push behind it. It's like, you need to hire. So
Yeah.
I grew very fast. Or mainly a lot were word of mouth. I live in a smaller town. Um, so it's just a lot of word of mouth. And, people come up to me and I don't know who they are because we do so much work and they were, we chat for a while. So it just kind of, it grew very fast. Just,
Awesome. Okay. Okay, so a lot of word of mouth. That's how you're growing earlier.
Mhm.
Your wife pushed you to get started. What was that first hire, and how difficult was that?
The first hire, it actually it wasn't very difficult to find. I had a buddy that actually, when I was 20, he worked on the same crew as me and doing construction. And we had a chat. And he's like, hey, if you ever hire, let me know. Like, I want to work for you. I was like, all
Hmm.
right. So that was about a year before I actually hired him. And so one night, me and my wife were talking. So I sent him a text and he's like, yep, I'm in. Like, it was, it was that I very with them already. So I already knew we didn't really have to do the interview. I already knew. So we worked on, how much you want to get paid. And that was kind of it. And it was a pretty easy first hire. He's
Huh.
made it. He loves doing pest control. He loves doing animal control. So it made it very easy. It was a really good fit.
Huh. That seems like that kind of just fell into your lap. You just
It
dropped in
really,
lucky.
it really just like it landed right there. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
very nice. Yeah.
that's awesome. Okay, yeah, and you mentioned wildlife. What is your split there? Are you mostly pest and a little bit wildlife, or how does it go?
Yeah, we're mostly pest, mice, stuff like that. And then we do, so I would say probably 75% is pest control, like just
Uh,
pests and mice. And then the other is animal control, so bats, raccoons, all that fun stuff. I mean, it really depends on the time of year. Even that right now, I'm starting to like limit it down a little bit because I'd rather focus a little more on pests because that's a little more ongoing versus a raccoon gets in your attic once, you're a one-time customer. Um, so yeah, it's above a 75-25, but I like to
okay.
keep it around just to help with the flow of work.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk to me more about the difference between the two. And would you recommend people getting into wildlife if they're just in pest? Or you were mentioning that you kind of just want to get more pest people because it's more recurring.
Yeah. And starting out, I love doing animal control. It's fun. I love hunting. I love fishing. Like I love being outdoors.
Hmm.
So that was kind of a more natural, like, hey, this is kind of fun. We get to outsmart raccoons and outsmart stuff.
Yeah.
And you interact with them and you let them go. And especially in the spring, you get babies in the attic, so you trap the mom. You get to go in and you get to remove the babies, and that's fun. Um, and it did help fill that gap because it just pest control. There's a rolling, this time of year it's mice, this time of year it's bugs, wasps, stuff like that, and it just helped fill the gap a little bit. So animal control, it can be done the right way. It can be very profitable, especially when it
Mm.
comes to getting them out and then doing exclusion. It's can be very profitable. Just as I grow, like I said, we're gonna keep it. It's just I'm not gonna do it as much. We'll probably say no to outlying areas type of deal when we
Okay.
focus
Well,
it all.
yeah. What is your favorite slash most profitable animal control service? Is there like, is bats the best or?
Yeah, bats is there's not a lot of people that do it, especially around here.
Mm,
So it's a weird, the job is very profitable, but then it's not, we don't do it all the time. Like it's
mm.
such small windows. We have that small window in the spring, we have a small window in the fall. So it's still is one of those things, a rolling thing that we use it to fill the gaps, but it is very profitable. Yeah,
Okay. Have you tried upselling those people to pest control?
we do. Yeah, we do a lot. People will call us about bats. Even like general pest control where they're looking around. We do, and we're walking around and we'll point out like, oh, you have bats. Like this is going on. Like people don't know it. Stuff like that. Or we're talking and we see spiders. We're doing a bad job. So I've upsold those, and I'm working with the guys, training them to just kind of be observant and see what we can upsell people on, just to become a recurring then.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, talk to me more about your, I guess, like initial service process. Like, are you doing a full inspection of the home, or what is like the typical funnel, I guess, of people? Maybe they contact you, or they're kind of unsure. What is the usual customer journey?
The usual, yeah. So if somebody, if they call and they don't know exactly what's going on, they have an issue, whatever, we will set up an inspection, and it's just to get eyes on the place, see what's really bothering them, what's their pinch point on what's bugging them. Um, and then once we're there, like I said, we can take a look at what's going on. If spiders is their biggest thing, then we can sell them on the quarterly. If we're there and we see bat droppings, stuff like that, or mice, we can start working with that and kind of upsell them. But I do like to get my eyes there and see what's going on. There are the handful where like I got spiders and we can Google Earth their home. It's like, well, it's gonna be about this much and it's done. Like I
Mm,
all communication is done real quick then. Like I'll never see them, I'll never talk to them in person type of deal. Which is fine. But I do like that. I love talking to people. And when you do that inspection, you create that relationship, which I love. And then now you have a customer for life. So if
mm.
all possible, I like to be there. I like to do the inspection, me or one of the guys. Just so then there is that face there, there's that handshake and go from there.
Yeah.
Like I always like the inspections. That's kind of the biggest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know there's more and more software companies coming out. I don't know if you've seen like Deep Lawn, where they'll do almost like you said, um, not Google Earth, but they will. take a satellite view of all the homes, let's say just in the US or in your area, whatever, and they can measure the area, essentially the lawn around your house. And then they can give you a quote then, which I think it's more for lawn care companies, but you can use it for pest control too.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, there's those quote tools, but like you said, I mean, when you establish that relationship in person, and I mean, I feel like it's impossible to give them a perfect quote online. I mean, you have to see what it's actually like.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, like especially like we do ticks in the summer. Like I can look Google Earth, you can map it out, and it's done. Like, hey, this is your quote. Like, but most things, like I said, I do like to be just there's that relationship aspect of it. And then you got a customer for life. So that's kind of the biggest thing. And the text, we try to stay the same. So Jake, for instance, is always doing that job, or Riley's doing this job.
Mhm.
Or right now I'm in the field because I can't find somebody else to hire. So then I'm always doing that job, but it just creates that relationship. I was there doing the inspection. Now I'm there doing the job.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I'd like to switch gears a little bit here. So, you guys are doing about 400K a year. You're set to do 400K this year.
Mhm.
Um, you mentioned that word of mouth was really helpful in the beginning, but how have you been acquiring customers? Has it still been mainly word of mouth?
A bunch is word of mouth still. We have that reputation. We don't have gobs of money to just drop it on Google ads and Facebook ads. So a big chunk is that, but we started utilizing our Facebook ads. Um, and at first I was swinging in the dark, just like, let's try this, see if it works. I didn't really know if it was working or not. Like we were advertising, that's great. All my friends are like, I see you all the time on Facebook. And it's like, well, that's great, but you're not my target. You already know me. So that was my biggest struggle. I was just chucking money at Google and chucking money at Facebook and hoping something stuck with that. I tried paper, newspaper, stuff like that. It's just,
Hmm.
that's kind of old school. We were getting a lot of older customers, which is fine, but it just, the return wasn't there. I wasn't seeing a return. Billboard, I tried a billboard once. I don't think I got one.
Hmm.
Not saying it doesn't work for somebody else, but I personally didn't. So that's where I started switching gears to Facebook and Google. That was
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. And you mentioned to me you joined the Pest Control Millionaires program about a year ago.
Yeah.
Tell me, because I think you learned some Facebook ads and Facebook group stuff from there and some other things. Talk to me about what the pivot was there and what you were doing with marketing moving forward.
Yeah, that was a huge turning point for me for Facebook, for the ads and groups, because I never utilized groups. Like in my local town, I'm obviously part of the information group, but I never thought outside that box. So that was actually a huge turning point for Facebook. I actually the Walber week, I don't know if it was week 1 or 2 or whatever it was, I implemented that week. And I actually doubled. So whatever the cost for the group was, I actually doubled, and I made my money back and then some that week. It was insane. Like my phone was blowing up just constantly. And I think that a lot was the Facebook groups. I started joining groups, other information groups. Jake had a template, and I use that and then just changed it here and there. I put a family picture. We were sitting at a local restaurant with me and my family with the
Mhm.
selfie, and we all had our shirts on, and it just blew up. I didn't I didn't think he was gonna do that. I was like, yeah, let's give it a shot. Seems, I don't know, but and it works. It's still, I don't do it all the time, but if we go through that slow season, I'll hit up some Facebook groups and it just blows up, and it's not a slow season anymore. So that was huge. That the groups was completely massive. In that group, a few were like, I don't know, it hasn't worked for me, blah blah blah. I don't know if they weren't doing it right, but it blew up for me, and a few of my buddies that were in that same class, it's worked for them too. So,
Oh
um,
yeah.
and then the Facebook ads too was a huge turning point, because now it's like Jay gave us a step by step of do this, and this, and that was massive, because it's like now I'm not swinging in the dark. My money's actually going towards something that's going to get to somebody, and be very useful. So that pest control group just that week alone. I think the Facebook ads, I think, was 2 weeks, but that was just a huge turning point for me
Yeah.
for Facebook. Yeah.
No, dude, that's insane. I mean, that's like exactly what we want to hear. You made your money back in like a week or two. I mean,
Yeah.
that
It was
that is so awesome.
it was unbelievable. Like it just still blows my mind.
Yeah, and just to be clear on that too, you're saying the like so when you're doing posts in Facebook groups, they're blowing up. What does that mean? Like it's getting a lot of likes and people are messaging you, or how does that turn into customers?
It's not so much likes, but messaging. People message me. Like it's an instant. Then I'm just sitting on my phone, just trying to message them back and getting phone numbers. Now I get phone numbers, so then I have my office manager reach out to them as fast as we can. But yeah, it was just they don't like, they'll comment a lot of those groups because we do a lot of people in those groups, and they actually would get under there and be like, yes, we know Jesse, he does a great job. Like, and that's, still word of mouth, but it's in that group. And once you get three, I think I did one was a local town. I had probably 20 people say, yeah, we love Jesse. Like, we do this, hire Drop Dead. And like, that completely blew up in that city because I had so many people saying, yes, yeah, go with them. And my on my phone, that group alone, I think it was like 20 people messaged me that night to come out there. And it was just, that was unbelievable. So that does
Wow.
help when you already know people in those groups, customers, and that really did help a lot. Um,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, like 20 people all in the groups also supporting you because then everyone else sees that and it's not so much you being like salesy, but now it's like, I mean, this is like a, the our business, the whole community vouches for. How could you not choose them?
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely nuts. My old community is when people and anybody asks for pest control, it's always like just a whole list of me and then like one other guy and it's usually like a nationwide company. Um, but and I talk to people and like we only see your name on those Facebook groups,
Dang.
which is unbelievable. That's awesome.
That's just so powerful. I mean,
Yeah,
I feel like part of that, because I wouldn't think of that solely as marketing, but I feel like you guys also have to be doing a great service too, right? Like you're treating the customer well, you're actually getting rid of their problem. And so talk to me about that of like your customer service. How do you treat the customers? What do you make sure to do?
well, and that was part of the group. The Pest Control Millionaire Jonas brought that out of like we are customer service that happens to kill stuff, and that ruminated with me. Where I just thought about that all the time. It's like, well, what can we make our experience better? Like, yeah, we kill stuff. That's great, but so does every other guy that does pest control. So I was like, all right, what can we up? And a lot of it was creating that relationship. Like I said, doing inspections, being face to face. We do a lot over the phone, but face to face is huge. We just implemented. Actually, my daughter came up with it. We got dog treats, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
she created a little business like thank you from Drop Dead, and then she put our dog on there and all our social media, and me and her sat down for like 3-4 hours and just tied all of them on there, and so we gave them to the guys, and so with they know they have a dog or the person's home, we hand it to them, and it's
Yeah.
just like that just adds that extra bit of customer service. So we try to do stuff like that. Even with notes, like we have Gorilla Desk, so we can leave a lot of notes so everybody can see them. I've been working with the guys of like, hey, if they have a dog, put the dog's name. So then if I show up, I know the dog's name.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like, hey, I was talking to them, they went on vacation. Next time I'm there, now it reminds me of like, hey, how was your vacation? Like it just creates that extra little bit of relationship with them, which is absolutely huge. When you can create that relationship, you're gonna have a customer for life. So right now, obviously we work on killing stuff, but that is our biggest thing is how can we make this experience more and more just
Oh
better.
yeah,
Buddy.
definitely. No, I love the dog treats angle. Do you know Tommy Mello?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm pretty sure I don't know if he came up with that. I mean, it seems like you guys came up with it on your own, but I'm pretty sure he talks about that all the
So
time.
does
He's saying, yeah, give the dog a treat, pet the dog, ask for the dog's name. For whatever reason, I mean, I'm sure there's some psychological component behind it of like if you're really connecting with the dog and the owners are really connected with the dog, it's almost like you have that mutual association or that mutual bond. But no, that's I mean the dog treats and the focus on the dog, not even the kids, but the dog is kind of funny. But it works. So
that was kind of the thing. Like my daughter, she brought that up. I don't know, because she's on YouTube and stuff like that. So she might have seen, I didn't ask her. But then she created that. She's only 12 and she created that all. And I'm like, let's run with it. Let's go. Because then part of my brain was like, well, a lot of times when people were talking to people and they're like, well, is it safe for my dog? Like, is it safe for my pets?
Mm.
And it's like, oh yeah, absolutely. And then we show up and they have kids, but they didn't say is it safe for my kids. So I was like, let's work on this aspect of it. Let's really get that dog the pets, whatever they are. So that was kind of a big thing that I kind of put two and two together.
I actually didn't think about that angle, but yeah, that is a big part. They're worried about their dogs and their kids.
Mhm.
So if you show like a proactive care in their dogs, they kind of make the connection that, oh well, if you're kind enough to bring my dog treats and remember his name, well
Mhm.
these treatments have to be safe for him too. That's actually I didn't think of that angle.
Yeah, yeah. I was trying to work all those together. Kids wise, we are working on like getting stickers. There was it's Mike Ness. I don't know if you ever. He's in northern Wisconsin. He was talking about like putting a sticker of like future pest control technician, or like the footballs would have your name on it, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I'm working on trying to narrow down like what would be best. So then the guys have that. So if they have kids, we can give them a toy and stuff like that that has our name on it, which is still huge. Like kids all love that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's all branding, right? Like something I've learned just from talking to so many pest control owners, especially the ones that are like doing super well, is literally just get your brand out there as much as possible. If you can give out pens with your brand on it, if you can give out backpacks, if you can get people to wear shirts and hats, literally anything, especially the trucks, but I mean, like any kind of way of being more visible to people, right?
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah, being visible and just having that relationship of being you come off as a good guy, which you're a good guy. Like that's all you got to show. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. I also wanted to touch on a little bit before this call. You said that hiring an office manager and just overall learning and starting to delegate was big for you. Talk to me about hiring that office manager and what that did for you.
Yeah, so that was a part of the group too. Jonas brought up about delegating. And a lot of owners and entrepreneurs they get in that I've done it all, I can still do it all, and that's fine. And that was my mode. Like I can do this all, I can still run around, I still make phone calls, I can still get emails, I can get it all done. And then it just I was I was the bottleneck. Like I was a problem in growing the business when I'm trying to grow the business. So actually, like after that group, I was talking to Jonas, and I had like 10 questions for him, and before I even could, I think I got one out. Like he just boom, 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 and I was like, "Well, you answered all my questions." Like, so he laid it all out with the delegating, but laid it all out for me to grow. I mean, he pretty much laid it all out to grow to 10 technicians. So, but that was a big one. So, actually, my wife is the one. She's my office manager now. She just wanted a change in career, and she's like, I want to quit my job. And I was finally, because of Jonas, I was like, hey, I need to hire an office manager. And I wasn't actively looking for one. And she's like, what if we worked together? I was like, yeah, like she's smart. She's great with people. Like that works perfect. Like they
Mm,
can't fail. Which was funny because the first week, because I ended up getting my own personal number because my personal number was my work number, which I should have separated that years ago, and I never did.
mm,
So now we switched over, so she has the work phone, and then I have a personal number now. Um, but that first week, I came home and she was sitting on her patio, and she's got her head back and her eyes closed. I'm like, "You okay?" And she goes, "I didn't realize everything you did for phone calls and emails." And she goes, "Your
mm.
phone doesn't stop ringing, it doesn't stop dinging from text, emails." She goes, "It just goes on." And I said, "Yeah, I know." She goes, "I didn't realize that happened." But since she took over, and there's been a learning curve because we do a lot of stuff. It's not just we do only spiders and moss. Like we cover pretty much every bug except for termites around here. We don't really have termites, so that's why we don't do them. But we kind of cover out. So there's a learning curve there. But like I said, she's so smart. Like she picked it up very fast. And so we even since she took over, like we've blown up, and it's stuff that I don't have to worry about now. phone calls and all that. Like, it's great. Like, I can focus on growth. I'm still in the field a lot, so I can focus on that a lot. So that's been just immense. Like, I should have done that years and years ago,
Mm.
type of deal. But it's a learning curve. Like I said, I'm not a risk taker. So that was a big risk because now I'm not only have to support my family, but I got to support two other guys and now an office mate, so it's a lot. But that's just not the way to look at it. You got to see that can help you grow. You take that, you delegate it, and then they're worth their weight in gold. So
Yeah.
I hired her years ago.
Yeah. Okay. And no, I'm glad to hear that. That even though you're not a big risk taker, you still ended up doing it, and it worked out really great. It sounds like you said you should have done it years ago. Maybe some advice for other people. What do you think is the level, like annual revenue, where you should hire an office manager? When does it make sense?
So, you got to figure it out. So what I did is I figured out, and this is advice from actually Jonas, is each tech makes so much, and it's gonna vary where you're at and stuff like that. But once they're maxed out, then you do another one. And then his advice was once you get three techs, then an office manager,
Mm.
and then I think it was like five. So I have it written down. But once you get so many, then you get a service manager, and then you kind of go from there. So that was part of him just laying it out for me. It was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like I didn't know at what point to get an office manager because I've seen some people they they hire one right away, and then they're in the field,
Mm.
and I can see the benefit to that. But like having a few techs, that was huge. So really, I only have two. I kind of skipped a little bit, but I went back in the field more. So technically, it's me and two other techs. We have three techs
Yeah.
and an office manager, but I can't find anybody higher. So we're working on that. But that was kind of the big. He was just laid it all out, and like once you have three, you just hire an office manager. Once you have, I think it was 5 to 7. I gotta look. Then it's the service manager, and then once you have 9 to 10, you might want to branch out farther. Like he just laid it all out for me. So, like I said, it was doing the pest control thing. The millionaire that course was just a huge eye opener. Like I went from I'm swimming in the dark. I don't know what I'm doing. If you guys would have had that around 5 6 years ago, I would be 5 6 years way ahead of things right now. It's
Mm.
just I'm the one that was bottlenecking my company, even though I was pushing to go bigger and faster. So
Yeah. No, I love to hear that, man. And I mean, that's the goal, right? Like I said, we want to, I don't know, so you could think about it as like eliminating pain. I don't want people to go through the growth pain when they don't have to.
yeah,
There's a clear roadmap, and you don't have to grind it out. Or I don't know. I guess you have to grind it out, but I think almost maybe the tougher part about business, and I've faced this myself too, is just the unknown, right? Of
yeah,
like the things you don't know what to do. You don't know the next step. And to have that of like what we're trying to do with this program, I think it's super impactful. So
yeah.
I appreciate those kind words. And as we start to wrap up here, I want to ask you, what is the future for your company? What are you guys planning to do in the next few years?
So actually, I was just talking with my wife about this the other night, and so like my initial plan was to grow like and hire every other year, basically keep my low overhead down. I could pay off a truck, 2 years, have another truck, pay off a truck, and then basically not have loans. That creates low risk, and low risk is low reward. So what we decided to do next March is hire two guys. And then so we got two more trucks on the road, and then hire a sales team for door to door. So the one tech can take over our just normal growth from Facebook and Google and all that are just our normal what we grow. And then the other tech can just cover the door to door guys. So that's our next year, and then the following year, still keep hiring two more guys. And then once we get that, then we can start working on. We have older trucks, like well, they're not older. I think it's 2018, 19 trucks, but they have a lot of miles. So
Mm.
then once we get that, then we start upgrading the trucks so that the guys are a little more comfortable. I don't have to worry about fixing them as much. This afternoon I got to fix one of the guys' trucks. That's part of business owner too. I'm a mechanic, sales, like I do everything.
Yeah.
Until I get to the point where I can just hire that all out, which is part of delegating. Um, but yeah, that's the goal. Is to have like 9, 10 employees, technicians out there. After that, I don't know if I want to branch out into other states. A lot of guys, I know Jonas is, I don't know how many, he's got so many.
15
15.
locations now.
Yeah, he's out there, which is awesome. That's great for him. I don't even want him to do that, but that's also my short term. I just kind of want to figure that out, and kind of get to that long term, and then figure out what I want to do there. At that point, the kiddos, I told them like if they want to take it over, great. If you don't, that's great too. Like whatever they want to do, I'm here to support them. But, yeah. So that's kind of our long term goal. We pretty much have it all laid out, and we're just gonna keep adjusting it and figure it out as we go. But we have that roadmap at least right now.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. So hiring 2 people every year or so, kind of hitting that steady growth. It's still manageable, nothing too crazy, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's awesome, dude. That's it's really good to hear.
Yeah.
Sweet. So we'll start to wrap up the show here. I have one more question for you, Jesse, and that is, and I like to ask this to all my guests, and you can take this wherever you want. Is what what is your message to other pest control owners out there? What do you want to tell them? What do you think they need to know?
Um. Well, I try to think like what when my first second year. Honestly I didn't really know where I wanted to go. I never saw myself as a boss. I knew I needed to get out of construction. It was hard on my body, and that was my goal. Like I can do myself, I can get it done. Once I hit that, it was like, all right, I either need to do this until I die, or I need to figure something else out. And that was part of growing. And I knew I couldn't do this when I'm 80. I don't want to do this when I'm 80. I mean, I'm job when I do, but I want time off. Um, so I would say figure out like what you want to do, get those short-term goals or get the long-term goals, and then work your way backwards. So in 10 years, if you want to have 5 technicians, just work your way backwards. So then you get your short-term goals. Um, Take bigger risks. Some people aren't like me and they take huge risks, which is great. Um, and then delegate. That was my biggest thing, is just delegate that out. Whatever you're not good at or you don't enjoy doing, get somebody else to do it. Somebody that enjoys it, and then that'll help grow things a lot quicker too. There are certain things that I just didn't like doing. I just wasn't good at, and that was the bottleneck. So that would be the biggest thing, is just delegate things out. It's scary, but it helps in the long run.
Awesome. No, those are 3 really good points. Figure out where you want to be and then work your way back, take bigger risks, and delegate as much as possible. So yeah, those are awesome. Those are all timeless principles. And thank you so much for coming on the show, Jesse. This has been great, and I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was a good time.
Of course. And for people that want to find you and connect with you, where can they find you?
So my email is excuse me, my office is Drop Dead. My email is ddpestsolutions@gmail.com. And my cell phone, my personal cell phone, is 608-898-2501. That's the best way. Text is great. That's
Awesome.
Phone calls are great. I love connecting with other people. Um, I know during that group, some of other guys in the group would call me, and we would talk on the phone for like 2 hours, just bouncing ideas off each other, which is great. It's that huge business and networking. So I absolutely love talking business. I love talking pest control. So it's great.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. So feel free to call Jesse. And are you on social media at all?
I'm on social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of it.
Okay. Cool.
Everything is all Drop Dead. Drop Dead Pest
Okay.
Solutions is everything. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So all those links will be in the description. And anything else you'd like to plug or promote?
I don't think so. I mean, like I said, the pest control millionaire, it was a huge turning point. So if anyone's on like the cusp of like, I don't know, it definitely helped me. It was huge in my business.
No, we appreciate that, man. And by the way, I didn't like force you to say that or anything. I always ask at the end of every show, and most people will say nothing, or maybe I don't know, they have a side business, or if you're in Evansville, Wisconsin. So if anyone is in Evansville, Wisconsin, maybe you're a lawn care owner and you want to partner, definitely partner with Jesse.
Yeah, yeah. Come visit me. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, like I said, I think this has been a great show, and thanks so much for coming on, man. This has been fun.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Of course.